Does that appear to be Mr. Hernandez holding an iPad?
Appears to be Mr. Hernandez, and he's holding something in his hand that's got a white glow to it.
Welcome to Watch Mojo. And today, we're looking at criminals who turned on the people closest to them.
You gotta hide us. I mean, they know how Bobby died and everything. I mean, we're all in this together, right?
Christine Paolilla.
She floated a lot, but within her own group, she was really kind of top dog.
The same could not be said for Christine Paolilla, a shy outsider who had always struggled to fit in.
Before the Clear Lake murders, Christine Paolilla was already struggling and her life worsened after she began dating Christopher Snyder. He battled severe substance use disorder, and Paolilla slipped into the same pattern. This dangerous lifestyle ultimately set the stage for the murder of her own friends. In July 2003, Paolilla went to her friend Tiffany Rowell's home, planning to steal drugs.
This was not a group of kids that would be considered thugs or gangsters by any means.
It was an earthquake to our family. It was devastating.
Things went sideways when an argument broke out between Snyder and Tiffany's boyfriend, Marcus Brisella. All 4 people inside the home were killed, including Rowell and Rachel Coloradis. Tragically, these were the same friends who had once taken Paolilla under their wing. The case went cold for years, until an anonymous tip led to Paolilla's arrest and conviction in 2008.
There's been times where he'd get almost satanic, talking about people, like, I wonder what it'd be like to kill someone, or...
Magen Fieramusca.
And we miss her dearly. She's forever strong in the midst of all of the people's lives she touched.
Some cases just leave you asking, why? Why would someone kill a friend they'd known for years? In Magen Fieramusca's case, it wasn't random violence, but a deeply disturbing personal motive. Fieramusca reportedly pretended to be pregnant at the same time as her longtime friend, Heidi Broussard. Then, in December 2019, she allegedly strangled Broussard with a dog leash and left her body in the trunk of her car.
A search warrant was not approved until around 8:30 later that evening. Because of the time difference, the admissibility of the evidence recovered is being challenged.
Investigators said she did so to steal Broussard's baby and pass the child off as her own. The baby was later found in Fieramusca's ex-boyfriend's home, who believed it was his child. In 2023, Fieramusca pleaded guilty and was sentenced to 55 years in prison. With friends like this, who needs enemies?
Is Miss Broussard a friend of yours? Yes? Okay, well, we're interviewing friends and family
in an effort to help locate her. Is now a good time to answer some questions?
Morgan Geyser and Anissa Weier.
After nearly 24 hours on the run, Slender Man stabbing assailant Morgan Geyser's escape coming to an end Sunday night. An employee called police concerned about 2 people sleeping in the cold at this truck stop off 148th Street.
Slender Man is a fictional character often lurking in creepy stories and pictures of children playing. But for Morgan Geyser and Anissa Weier, that fantasy became terrifyingly real. In 2014, these minors lured their friend Peyton Leutner into the woods of Waukesha, believing it'd please Slender Man. While Weier encouraged the attack, Geyser stabbed her friend Leutner 19 times.
What were you nervous about most? Seeing a dead person, because the last time I saw a dead person, it was at a funeral and it was my uncle.
Shockingly, she managed to survive by crawling to the road where a cyclist found and helped her. Though the violence was fueled by fantasy, the legal consequences were real. Geyser was later diagnosed with a serious mental health problem and committed to a facility. As for Weier, she was sentenced to a lengthy term in a psychiatric institution before being released under strict supervision.
By the time we found them, they had walked about 5 hours and made it to the north end of our city.
Morgan Geyser and Anissa Weier are brought back to the Waukesha police station for questioning.
Sheila Eddy and Rachel Schoaf.
You could tell she was mad at someone.
In the weeks before she vanished, Skylar had posted angry messages. There's just something about you I can't stand.
We often hear of killers targeting strangers, which is terrifying enough, but murdering a friend simply because you no longer like her is a whole other level of horror. That's what happened to Skylar Neese. In July 2012, she was reported missing, but it turns out she had already been murdered by her friends Sheila Eddy and Rachel Schoaf. On the night she disappeared, Neese snuck out to meet them, unaware of their deadly plan.
This is the last sighting of 16-year-old Skylar Neese. Surveillance video outside of her home in West Virginia. An eerie vision as she sneaks out of her bedroom, enters an unknown car, and vanishes.
They lured her to a familiar spot, tricked her into retrieving something from the car, then stabbed her repeatedly until she died. The truth remained hidden for 6 months until Schoaf broke down and confessed. She was sentenced to 30 years in prison, while Eddy received a life sentence.
Rachel Schoaf told investigators they were going to bury Skylar, but when they couldn't, they left her body here on the side of the road and covered it in branches.
Daniel Wozniak.
Prosecutor Matt Murphy proved that Daniel Wozniak shot her, went to his ATM to withdraw money, and then took the stage for a performance.
Despite being unemployed and drowning in debt, Daniel Wozniak was determined to have a lavish wedding and a honeymoon. His solution? To murder not one, but 2 people. This evil mastermind targeted his friend and neighbor, Samuel Herr, a military veteran whose combat pay he knew about.
And Dan was kind of like an older brother mentor to him.
He's a cool kind of cat that I would like to groove with.
That cool cat, that's Dan Wozniak, Sam's friend, the broke neighbor.
After killing her to steal the money, he lured Julie Kibuishi to Her's apartment to make it look like Her had murdered her and fled. His plan initially worked, even sparking a manhunt for Her, who was already dead. But things unraveled when he had a boy withdraw from Her's account, a move that traced back to him. After repeatedly lying about his involvement, Wozniak finally confessed and faced justice for his horrific crimes.
Okay. Why did you feel you had to kill Julie? What was the rationale behind that?
I was going crazy.
Liam McAtasney.
That's what makes this really a heinous event, that these were 2 people, meaning Sarah and Liam, that knew each other since, I believe, grammar school.
Like Wozniak, Liam McAtasney was driven by greed to take the life of his own friend. According to prosecutors, he spent about 6 months plotting the murder and robbery. Not only was he accused of strangling his childhood friend, Sarah Stern, in her home, but also of dumping her body from a bridge. This was to make it look like Stern had taken her life just to conceal his crime.
And you see Liam in court today?
Yes.
Can you point him out for me?
Yep. It's right there at the defendant's table.
Instead of getting away with it, he was caught after an accomplice pleaded guilty and testified against him. McAtasney was later convicted on multiple accounts, including first-degree murder and robbery, and sentenced to life without parole. Stern's body was never found, making his betrayal all the more chilling given their long history together.
Liam McAtasney stops talking with police, and so investigators turn to his friend and his roommate, Preston Taylor, to try and get some answers.
Karen Severson and Laura Doyle.
Eva started to walk back up the trail towards the cars. I followed. And Laura and Missy didn't.
This case will give you serious trust issues. We're talking about the murder of Michelle Avila by her former best friends and rivals, Laura Doyle and Karen Severson. According to Avila's mother, she had no reason to suspect either girl, especially since Severson appeared truly sympathetic and even moved in with her to console her. But behind that caring facade, jealousy festered.
Missy was popular with the boys, and they were not, and that was the whole motive for murdering her. They didn't want her around anymore.
Doyle and Severson had lured Avila to the creek where they got into a heated argument and drowned her, using a log to hold her down. Thanks to a teenage witness, the truth came out, leading to the girl's arrest in 1988. They served almost 44 combined years in prison before they were released.
My hands didn't hold her underwater, but when I turned my back, my heart killed her.
Martin Puccio.
Lisa was convinced that Bobby Kent was no real friend of Marty's and that he would be much better off without him. She also saw him as a rival to her relationship with Marty.
Bobby Kent's murder echoes that Brutus Caesar-style betrayal, and that's what makes it so unsettling. He was murdered by his own best friend, Martin Puccio, along with several others. The motive? A mixture of resentment, manipulation, and misplaced loyalty. Kent was widely described as abusive, domineering, and controlling. This attitude extended not just to his girlfriend Alice Willis, but also to Puccio.
Lisa Connolly was appalled at the way Bobby treated her boyfriend Marty and would often complain about it. But for reasons only dimly understood, even now, there was a violent undercurrent in relations between the two.
Over time, Puccio's girlfriend Lisa Connolly convinced Puccio and others they had to eliminate Kent. What began as venting soon turned into a calculated murder plot. Despite a first failed attempt, on July 14, 1993, they lured Kent to a remote area where they stabbed and beat him before dumping his body. Their crime didn't go unpunished, as some of them later confessed.
Sheriff's office, what's going on? Does any body cam ring a bell?
Aaron Hernandez.
At the time, a lot of people thought he was talking about marijuana, that he used a lot of marijuana, that he had gotten older, he'd gotten more mature. It doesn't seem like he was talking about marijuana.
It sure looked like Aaron Hernandez had it all. But behind the fame and fortune was a troubled young man. His childhood was far from rosy, and as he grew older, his life became more chaotic. Even after joining the NFL, that didn't stop. There were reports of substance use, involvement in shootings, and other legal issues. The turning point came with the murder of his friend, Odin Lloyd.
2 projectiles were recovered from his body. Odin Lloyd had 8 gunshot wounds to his chest. It went through him as he laid on the ground.
In 2013, Lloyd's body was found at an industrial park a mile from Hernandez's home, riddled with gunshot wounds. The investigation quickly pointed to the NFL star and with overwhelming evidence. He was eventually arrested and convicted of first-degree murder in 2015. Why he threw everything away by murdering his own friend remains unclear.
Police are also investigating Hernandez's alleged involvement in a 2012 drive-by shooting in Boston that left 2 people dead.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Robert Durst.
A lot of people write him off as an eccentric kind of guy, and it's just Bob being Bob. It would be cute if Bob being Bob didn't result in 3 people being dead.
In 1982, Robert Durst's wife, Kathleen McCormick, disappeared, and his friend Susan Berman provided an alibi that helped deflect suspicion. The case went cold for years, only to be reopened in 2000. Just weeks after the case gained renewed attention, Berman was found shot, execution-style, in her Los Angeles home. After that, Durst went on the run, disguising himself as a woman who can't speak to avoid being questioned. Prosecutors argued that Durst had killed Berman to stop her from revealing she had covered up for McCormick's disappearance.
Killed them all, of course.
More than 20 years later, in 2021, Durst was eventually convicted for Berman's murder. The case is truly scary, knowing the two had been so close that Durst had even walked Berman down the aisle at her wedding.
We know about the cadaver letter that the killer supposedly sent because the police received it. It was postmarked before the body was found. Let's look at that. Does that match his handwriting?
Are there any other treacherous criminals who should have made this list? Let us know in the comments section below.